So I'm sitting here in my car, having a cigarette, just had to run around and do some things this morning, and just kind of scrolling through Facebook. And I just feel like I have to say a couple of things about this kind of new hot button issue that people are talking about a lot, and that's in regards to systemic racism. Now, this isn't going to be a video about proving or disproving systemic racism. I personally don't believe that systemic racism exists. What I want to make a video about is talking about the main points that I've seen being shared about systemic racism in regards to a proof, or one of the truths that points out that systemic racism exists, is in regards to income inequality between blacks and whites, between whites and other people of color. Now, this had me just like questioning why I wasn't seeing another perspective that I've known and that I've done research on to understand. And here's the reality when it comes to inequality, and then the inverse of that, equality. What does equality mean? Well, in all philosophies, when you're talking about inequality and equality, there's this maybe generalized belief that equality means the same for everybody, like that there's one universal term of equality. But the reality is that there's not. There's actually two. There's two. And those two ideas are that you either have an equality of opportunities or you have an equality of outcomes. So let's try and break this down. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that everybody that starts, no matter where you're at in life, no matter what your racial identity is, gender identity is, no matter where you start, that you have to have the same equal outcome in order to have true equality? Or is it a belief that you should have the same opportunities regardless of your class, regardless of your race, regardless of your identity? That is what people in this country that are on, the middle, common sense / right side of the spectrum have believed. That's what the founding documents of this country stated, that we should have a fair system in which no matter who you are, where you're from, where you start, that you should have the opportunity to have success, the opportunity to create your own dreams. But for people that believe that we should have an equality of outcomes, don't get it twisted, okay? That is a belief of social redistribution, right? Socialism. And if that's what you believe, that's on you, right? Like that, I'm not saying that you're a bad person. I personally am against redistribution, because here's the deal. If I work my entire life, let's say I'm born in a poor family like I was, and I work my entire life and I make all the right decisions. Let's say that I just bust my butt, just doing everything that I can to raise myself. If I reach this high level, I should then have to turn around and take my extra success and hand it off to someone that didn't work as hard. That right there is unjust. That right there is unfair. I should be able to do what I can do to have an equal opportunity. So that's what this country is really about, right? That's what this conversation is about. Do you believe that we should have equal opportunities, or do you believe we should have equal outcomes? That's a very different conversation. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that just because you believe in equal opportunity, that makes you racist. That if you only believe in equal outcomes, then you're this just person, you're this righteous person. That's not the truth. This is a question about, do you believe that people are fundamentally individuals, or do you believe that people are just all parts of groups? Do you believe that the individual should have equal access, equal opportunities to succeed in whatever it is that they set their God-given abilities, their heart and their mind to? Or do you believe that none of that matters, that you're part of a group, you're part of a collective? That's the real conversation. So don't get it twisted. Use correct words. Use your actual intentionality, and then maybe we can have an honest conversation about if you believe that socialism is the way to go, or if you believe that capitalism, free markets are. But don't frame them in the context that one means that you're racist and one means that you're not. One means that there's racism and systemic racism, and one means that there's not, because that is false. That is trying to manipulate people into feeling a certain way so they can actually believe your political ideology. That's just my piece. I just had to say it this morning because I'm not seeing that conversation. You're trying to make yourself the righteous person by believing that there's only one possibility of equality in this country. And I reject it. I think you should reject it if you believe in individuality and if you believe in freedom. That's my piece.